Welcome to Secura Law Experience. I'm Luis Elizalde, founder of Secura Law. Finally, I'm back.
Finally back.
I'm here with
Eduardo Borgar.
Stephanie de la Millar.
Perfect. That is gonna be a great day. I feel good today, so something to be good. I think we can speak about the assignment of rights agreement assignment of rights in a trust is if the seller is already in a trust or they already have or he already or she already have a FIDEICOMISO or they. What's happened? What is the next step for the buyer? He's gonna get a new trust. He's gonna get the assignment. One question that we have before this podcast, it was like that. What's going to happen? It's going to be a new trust. We're going to assign agreement. What can you say about next? That? Exactly.
Well, basically, to be real honest, it always have to be, or we have to do it according to what we have at hand. Not every time we can decide to do the same thing because we need to look into the client's purpose and plans for the future, right? One common thing that we have is that in the area, a lot of properties, high value properties belong to foreigners already, right? So they are already in a trust. And the situation happens when they want to sell that property because they want to move back to their country or they want to invest in other properties, and they sell it to another foreigner. So in that case, if the trust is brand new, let's say, it would make sense for them to transfer that.
What do you mean new? Oh, kind of brand new.
Yeah, well, look.
What you're thinking?
When you create a trust, it's good for 50 years.
Okay.
Renewable for another 50.
Okay.
So that 50-year span, that's the validity of the trust. So whenever you want to sell to another foreigner to keep the property in that trust, you need to take into consideration where are we standing in that year period.
Okay.
Because it will make sense if it's new, let's say 5 to 10 years.
Okay,
We already have 40 years left for the trust to be good. So that would make sense, right?
Totally. 10 years, I think, could be doesn't matter, you know?
I've never seen one more than 10 years.
Really?
No,
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
No.
Almost actually, some of them about to expire. And yes, I mean, in that cases, it maybe will be a good idea to.
Sorry, but normally that in that cases is with Vancomer, right? Because are really old
And
trusts.
Scotia.
And
Yes.
more Vancomer.
But more Vancomer.
Because years ago,
BBVA.
now BBVA, exactly.
But in that time,
In that time, Vancomer was the best bank in that moment, you know, and it was good. By the thing that I hear, all times, but BBA, in that time, Vancomer.
In the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. 80s and 90s used to be a really good bank. But remember, in that time was only 30 years. The trust was only 30 years. So the renewal, we already saw that kind of renewals with Vancomer. And when they are trying to sell, in that case, it's different. It's not an assignment. I know that the podcast is for an assignment of rights of that trust. But in this case, with Vancomer, as Eduardo said, depends on the cases. With Vancomer, it's better that the new buyer is going to formalize a new trust or FIDEICOMISO. So that could be one answer. If the trust is with Vancomer?
We have plenty because with that bank, you always have issues with the annual payments because they get out of hand real quick.
You're right.
So, for example, I had one client that, let's use the example of a Scotiabank. The trust was barely new, 5 to 7 years, but for the extension, he had to pay like 70,000 pesos.
70,000. Okay.
Because of the fees that they charge between the annual fee, the execution fee, and it was.
But maybe there was a pending fees.
Annual fees.
Yes.
No, for the extension because not for the extension. Either extension or assignment,
It's expensive.
they charge you like the reviewing fee and the acceptance fee.
Okay.
And then notice to one institution fee.
Mm-hmm.
So with other banks, it's fairly expensive.
Yes.
For the extension. Yeah.
No, for this assignment
Also?
as well. So
Okay.
we need to be checking in reality what we have to be able to give that advice. Because an assignment would mean that you will still having that same contract with the same clauses and conditions over to a new person.
I think almost at the end of the podcast we can speak a little bit more about the banks. Not with the idea to criticize, not to be like that kind of thing. It's more like to give our opinion with our experience of that. What could be the best option with each bank, because Scotia Bancomer used to be really good. Scotia used to be really, really good. Now I think it could be also good. The thing that they are looking for could be good. Banorte is just changing a lot. So looks like could be another good bank. Yeah. Interacciones don't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
G-Money also is another one that doesn't exist anymore. I don't know. We can speak about that.
We could try play a game. Describe a trusty bank with one word.
Oh my God. That could be risky.
Yeah. We can get in trouble.
Yeah, YouTube can close it. Okay. No, but we were talking about assignment right. Let's focus on which bank right now could be the easiest and fastest to use for an assignment or right agreement.
In my experience, Banco del Bajío.
Okay.
Banco del Bajío is the easiest one in accordingly to the process. Yes, we expect that the deputy of the trustee bank comes one day. The door is open. The invitation is here. Because they have, I have to say, a great customer service. Banks, I think, worldwide are difficult to deal with. And Banco del Bajío, I have to say that in the bank standards are really great. They perform a really good customer service. And that it's also included in the assignment of rights, because they only require instruction letter. That is also very important to create this difference between coming to yourself to sign the title or granting a power of attorney to sign the title when you are making an assignment of rights. Because the trustee bank wants to be super sure that it's you who is instructing to the bank. So as you are acting through the power of attorney, you have to notarize and apostille this letter if you are executing abroad. So they can make sure that it's actually you who is instructing to the bank. This is for your protection to prevent any kind of fraud or that someone is doing a malicious behavior or acts with your property. So you have to bear in mind that.
I have exactly what you said. I have an experience like 8 years ago with a client that she sent the instruction letter. She signed, and at the beginning she said, I'm gonna sign the title, no worries, everything okay. And in that moment when you sign the title and the seller is here, in that moment in the title they say, hey, the instruction that I gave is the one that I signed, in that moment. But what happened closer to the closing, she said, hey, I'm not coming. So in that moment I say, okay, so we have a problem here. Not a problem, but we have to look for the solution.
An extra step.
So I sent her again the instruction letter in which there is a paragraph explaining that it's going to be through a power attorney and I'm going to sign on her behalf. And she was saying, and I asked for the apostille of that. And she was saying, no, it's not possible. It's going to take a lot of time. What you are doing this. And I said, no, relax. It's more for your protection. Because from the point of view of the bank, you already sent a letter in which says that you are coming. Now I'm going to send another letter without the apostille, without any valid seal, saying that I'm going to sign on your behalf. Imagine that. If that bank accepts that without any legal formality, just a piece of paper with your signature saying that I'm going to sign on your behalf, I can sell your property and you not even know. You know, in that case, she was like, oh, that's right. The bank is covering me, you know? So at the beginning, it was something that is bothered, or she was bothered for that. But after she realized that it's on her protection, she feel relief and she sent everything. It took like 2 more weeks, but she feels safe. So that was good, you know?
Yeah, and this happens for a reason. Unfortunately, we don't prevent these kind of things until they happen. So that means that this happened to the banks and they had to be liable for the property towards the owners. Because when they came back, they weren't like, wait, what's happened?
Clue.
What happened to my property? Hey, where's the bank? Oh yeah, you signed your trust away to somebody. Who signed?
Yeah.
Right?
It's not that happens always, and it's not like very common,
not
but
anymore.
could happen.
Used to happen.
Like
not
20
anymore.
years ago.
With these kind of procedures that the bank implement right now, there's no way, because they need for sure to prove that you are accepting and approving this to happen. That's why they need you to notarize it, have it apostille, or legalized, right? If not, there's no way you can sign away your trust to assign it to somebody else.
Yeah, totally agree.
That is good.
So, what else? An assignment. I have an experience also, and I'm still talking about Bajío. With Bajío, it was an assignment of rights with the signature of the title, the approval of the draft of the deed in 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, you know, that was I think my
fastest one.
It was like on Monday, the client, the buyer and seller arrived to the office with the offer signed that they want to close in 1 week, and I said no, it's not possible 1 week. It's really hard, most because of the pre-closing document. You can go to the other episode to see that. But if we got the pre-closing documents in 2 weeks, we can sign. And they say, okay, are you sure? No one told us that. And I say, okay, let's do it. I'm seeing that you have Banco El Bajío. You are selling. You are willing to get the same trust. That is an assignment or right of the trust. Let's do it. And the most important thing was to get the pre-closing document. We got the pre-closing documents, I think, like 7 days after. And next Friday, we signed the title. And yeah, it was crazy. It was nice. Yeah.
It's really inspiring.
Yeah, it was really fast.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
2 weeks in that days.
You're blowing your mind like.
No, but in that day the municipality works really well. You know. Or no, it's not that. Oh my God, no. Municipality. It's not like the municipality is working bad right now, but they are taking more bureaucracy in all the documents, or not all the pre-closing documents. But in that time, like 3 years ago, I think it was 4 years ago, that happened, and it was really, really good, and everything went well, you know. And we get the title duly recorded in the public registry, I think, in 2 months. So
that was a real fast one. Then
it was before pandemic. To say the truth.
Yes.
That was a game changer.
Different.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Totally.
But I mean, the important thing and why this is also a good option is because you have to, you save a lot of money when you do this, because you as a buyer, you don't have to spend the money to create a new one.
Why?
Because you're already taking the existing one. You don't
But
have to
how
pay
much
a
is
permit.
it?
You don't have to pay the annual fee in advance. So you will only have to pay like the acceptance fee and the execution for that trust. And the other thing is the owner has to be up to date with the annual payments.
And how much it could be how much is the new one?
20 almost 2,300.
Okay. And the assignment with the same with Bajío that we are talking about.
$300 paying for the buyer, because the seller has to be up to date with the annual fees. So you would save up to $1,000.
I think that's something good, and that we have to explain, because I already have clients or buyers that say, hey, but it's the trust of the seller. He has to pay that assignment. I say, hey, wait, exactly, because instead of you paying $2,300, you are going to pay only $300 plus taxes. and you are making a scene, you are looking that the seller paid that. No, I think it's more than fair that the buyer paid that because he's saving like 1,800, you know,
At least.
nah, or 2,000, you know.
Yeah.
They are saving that kind of money because the otherwise the seller can cancel the trust, extend the trust, and they have to get a new one. So it's a good deal, and it's fair enough that
And
the
it's much
buyer.
lengthier
Sorry?
because it's much lengthier because aside that they have to pay the 2,200 for themselves, they have to go through the process of getting the permit of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which is a pain.
not right now. Used to be.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
not like used to be before.
I
the
think-
pandemic time. That
I
is
think
It
like,
was critic.
I think we're one government decision away from disaster in that kind of situation. So I always recommend if you can do the assignment, do it. I mean,
yes.
take your chips and get out of the casino right there because you're winning.
Yeah, but about the permit that you were saying, like years ago was like 3-4 days you have it. Then pandemic came and it was 3-4 months, 1 year. It was crazy time.
Yeah.
And then now I think they are going good, you know,
Trying
like
to speed it
we're
up.
talking about 15 to 20 working days,
Yes,
like 2
or
to 3
less.
weeks. Yes.
I mean, the worst case scenario is 2 weeks. That is
2 weeks.
the longest.
2
2
weeks?
weeks.
2 weeks? Okay.
2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yes. That is the thing that I have seen that the longer
Uh-huh.
lately.
Lately, exactly.
Yes. I think the system is getting back to the roots from last month. I think they are working faster now.
Yeah.
There are some trustee banks that say that they can have it in 5 days. I'm not sure if that will be true. Let's see.
But you know about that trustee banks because they are kind of new in the area. It's the only thing that I'm worried about that because there is like
They're the new kid in the block.
yeah, and they are trying to promise a lot of things or saying, hey, I'm gonna get this in 3 days, 5 days. It's gonna be cheaper. Sorry, it's gonna be cheaper for your client. That kind of thing that, from my point of view, is if you're the new, show it. Not tell it.
Exactly.
You know, is
Don't brag about it.
yeah, exactly.
So
So it's the only thing that I'm not feeling well to go with them.
yes, and you also, I mean, if you are advising to a client to get into an assignment of rights, I think you have to look at the conditions of the original trust, because there are some banks, for example, I have to say it, Monex. Also, we did an assignment of rights because I mean their fees are fair and standard and everything, but it was an assignment of rights. So the seller already paid his trustee bank fees. I don't know. The closing was about March. They paid on December, I think, from the year
Per advance.
per advance, and when we were about to sign, they say yes, and the new owner has to pay her annual fee.
But you mean
Right.
annual fee they just pay.
Right? And it's an assignment of rights, which means that you're putting the other person in the buyer in the seller's shoes. So if the seller already paid the trustee bank fees per
In
the
December.
contract says, then it's paid. They say no, she's starting with us, so she has to pay her annual fee per advance. And
No,
you
that
know
makes
that
sense.
you cannot fight with the banks.
Of course.
So it's commissions banks won't ever lose. So she just paid, but it was a totally unfair situation. But it was in the contract. It was say that in case of even though it's opposite of the spirit of the assignment of rights, in the contract it was said and stated that in case of an assignment of rights, the new owner has to pay their own annual fee per advance at the execution of the public deed.
Makes
So
no sense.
you have to look over all these terms to make sure that you are protecting the client and preventing them. Okay, you know what? Yes, you are saving funds regarding the permit and the acceptance fee, But with this bank, you have to pay the annual fee again, even though the seller has already paid it.
No, it's not good. And something that you also need to have in mind is that whenever we suggest this is because we already reviewed the original contract of trust. Because in some of them, back in the day, they didn't put the exact amount of annual fees. They put it in a wording that said that basically every year they were going to change it according to the inflation or whatever number. So
Interacciones.
every year they start
Yes, say it.
building up and growing exponentially until when you find out or you ask the owner how much he pays for annual fees, it's like triple the amount that you have paid
Yes.
with another bank.
Yeah, that is that thing with Interacciones, and I spoke openly because that's the reason they are
Because
not
they are
not in the
existing
market anymore.
so-
Yeah, no, because that's the truth. Because they were doing that kind of thing. They went with the client and they say, "Hey, no worries, you're not gonna pay." Exactly, the producer happened. It's like that. They said, "Hey, no worries, everything, all the years is gonna be the same." You know, that kind of things, and it's gonna be cheap, and no worries about that. They sign, and every year they are raise the
Rising,
fee, and something that started like $300 US. Today they are paying 800, 900. I already saw to client with 1200. You know, it's like they are saying, hey, every year is gonna be crazier. Well,
Yeah.
And with Bancomer, I think it's also the same. A little bit the oldest one. They already have trust with payment of 1,000, 1,500. You know, that kind of
Yes.
thing that said, hey, what's going on?
And that they also have the clause where it says that the trustee bank fees can change accordingly to the inflation. They have that clause. So at the end, they can change the fee discretionally without
you can
even
say
giving
nothing.
you notice.
Yeah.
Because another important clause that comes in the trustee bank contract is that they don't have to, most of them, they don't have to legal notify you that it's time to pay your fees, which means that you are the one that has to go, you do it in your credit cards. You are the one that has to go to the bank or contact the bank to pay the annual fee.
I have to pay my credit card.
Now I remember.
Okay.
So yes, that is another very good point that I like with Banco del Bajío, and I think some other banks are mimicking the same way to work, that they notify to the owner, to the trustee. They send an email asking for or reminding him about the payment of their annual fee, which is super good. Because there are some other banks that obviously, as the contract says, they don't have to notify you. You have to go yourself to pay the annual fee, which means that if you don't pay on time, you will get late fees. Lately, we had a client that had trustee bank annual fee debt for over $37,000 because she never paid.
Pay the fee. And they are charging delay fees?
Yes, of course.
But
Late interest, penalties,
oh my
all
God.
the things that banks charge you if you don't pay on time.
Yeah.
Pay.
I had to pay the credit.
So yes, lately most of the banks are implementing this practice of notifying their clients, because at the end I have to say that it's not the best practice. You have a client, you have to notify them. Sometimes maybe they don't notify them, but the contact information it's not updated. So be also sure that the bank has your updated contact information, so you can be sure about paying your trustee bank fees on time.
Totally agree. Yeah, and you can. No, I was like 37,000. How can you?
Your face like.
Oh my God.
vibes.
Yeah, how could you be in that position? You know,
that the reason why I make the face is because these kind of situations sometimes screw up the wholesale.
Yeah.
Because they never like look into it, and you get a buyer, an interested one. you sign an offer, you even sign a promissory contract. And when you start digging up, you find these kind of things. And that's when closings get complicated, right?
And imagine you have to pay the trustee bank fees, like 37,000 plus capital gain taxes,
That's
plus the less thing that is the pre-closing document,
real
estate commission. So at the end, we're nothing. Yeah, no.
The satisfaction of selling a house.
You end up losing money.
Making someone else happy.
Yeah.
It's not you, but it will be others.
Maybe you are happy. You don't have any debt anymore,
Yeah,
it could be. But I think we have time for the last thing that we said at the beginning, that to speak a little bit of the banks. I think the best option that we speak like the positive things of that banks, because everybody always looking for the bad. We are not like that. We are looking always for the positive. So let's start with Eduardo. What do you think about Bancomer? Positive. Exactly.
Yes.
I want to touch the
No,
board
they
there.
have a lot of positive things.
Yeah.
Bancomer. Okay. They.
One word. Nah.
Whoa. Well, they are trying their best now to change their. I would not say bad behavior in the past, but the bad things that led them to decrease their presence in the trust area.
Mm-hmm.
So now they are trying to improve that. They got new personnel. They are changing their post-sale interaction with the client.
Yes.
So I see right now they're putting the work, and I'm sure that in the future that is going to reflect for them. So this may be a good time to start moving towards that bank so the clients can see the change.
The process that they are using right now is something that is good for them, because they are working to get better every time.
Exactly.
Yes.
Perfect.
They are creating a platform where you can upload all the documents, which I think it's great. They are a very well-known bank over the entire world. So if you are looking for a big brand bank, that will be the one.
The biggest bank, sorry to interrupt you, the biggest bank that invests a lot, but I mean tons of money in technology. The only bank that's doing that in Mexico is BBVA.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think the keyword there for them is that they are reinventing themselves.
Yeah.
And that the reason is taking this. Perfect.
They have the best electronic banking.
Yeah.
I have to say. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the reason. Okay. Yeah. So they are working on that.
Yes.
So that's good. That's good. Steph, what do you think about Scotiabank?
Scotiabank, I mean, they have in my point of view, they have the greatest experience regarding all the trusts that they own currently.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's a bank that have seen everything, all the cases possible. They have studied, and so that makes them. Currently, they are not making a new trust, as far as I know. But I mean, their customer service is good. They are very reliable bank, and I think their personnel has the one of the best experiences and expertise on regarding trustee banks.
Would you say that the reason why is because when the real estate boom happened in Playa del Carmen, they were the top bank? That's why in that period of time they hold like a very big piece of the cake regarding the properties in this area, right?
Yeah.
Yes, totally. Because used to be one of the best. It's a really good customer service right now, but used to be excellent.
Huge.
Yeah, it was David Ortega, I think it was the name.
Yeah.
He was really nice. If you send a message, if you send an email, anything that you need, he responds right away. So used to be really, really good.
And I think that's the thing that sent them into the downfall, right? They were so big at one point that they
cannot handle that.
They could not handle it.
And the thing that I love the most of them is that they have a person inside in Cancun.
That's good,
Jorge
exactly.
Milton, and his office is always open. like always. So he personally attends the clients. If they walk in Scotiabank in Cancun, they will have someone that can assist them.
Yeah, he has
think.
to feel the shoes of David, and he's doing it. So that's good. That's good. Another bank. What about Monex, Steph?
I have to say that Monex is a good option when you are looking for financing, because they have this trusty bank with whether it's mortgage or fiduciary guarantee. So if you are looking for that, that I think that it's the right bank to use.
Bajío?
Nah. Do you want
I saw you.
He deflected
And
it. See? All right, Bajío is the best one ever.
Bajío, my love.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That one is, in my opinion, not only the fastest, but in personal experience, they always try to help you come up with a solution. Right?
But you have to put your hand in your chest.
Definitely. Yeah. So
I
mean, when you work with them, you feel blessed.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, that's the top bank right now. We have to say it. They're the top dog. They are getting so much work right now because of how they work. Mm-hmm. They do fast. They help you with whatever you want or can do, so you can get the trust done. They don't say no and close the door.
Yeah, exactly.
They're trying to find ways to get business, right?
Yeah.
And that's good for everyone.
Exactly.
Yes.
Perfect.
And they are always available. I mean, yesterday I think I had a really weird thought, and I was starting a discussion with the trustee bank deputy, and he's really open always to say, okay, no, you are crazy, or I haven't thought about it,
that. Uh-huh. Give me a minute, and
yes,
totally agree with you, with both. Okay.
You, what are your thoughts
about Banorte?
Okay, about Banorte, it's a new bank right now in the area. Not like new bank, not doing trust and everything. They have an old experience years ago, but they used to be in Mérida. Now they just open in Cancun. Looks like they are looking to do great things, but again, it's like some steps behind Bancomer. That Bancomer is already changing everything. Banorte, I think they are doing the same. Now they are building everything from ground up. So I think that's the reason they just start here. One client all the years before Banorte were here, they never received a notice. He never received nothing about his bank, his trustee bank. And now the first year that they open in Cancun, finally he received a notice and a really good service. So I'm thinking that in the future could be a really good bank. But as I said, it's kind of new. Everybody here, and I'm sure that a lot of notaries, they know Banorte from Mérida and used to be very different. And they are thinking that they are going to do really, really good things here. And as I said, don't say it, just show it, So let's see what happened with Banorte.
Yes. Definitely. And your thoughts about Bajío, in your experience?
Nah, from my point of view right now, it's the best bank. The 2 weeks to an assignment was with Bajío. The best experience that I have to have a closing really fast was with Bajío. All of that kind of things of good memories. No, good thing was with Bajío, and it's Bajío, and the person that is in charge is not only that because he's doing the right thing, he's putting his people in the right position to do the right thing. So that's the reason Bajío right now is still the best bank.
Yes, totally.
Awesome. I think, of course, there is some more banks, but I think we speak about the most important right now. Maybe in the future, in a couple of episodes more, we're going to speak on other banks. Could be in the episode 200. It's gonna take years, of course.
And maybe will be another 10 banks because the market is opening for
exactly. So let's wait for the future and work every day. And that's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.